What's up guys, and in today's video I wanted to talk about the last Inside Xbox that we had this week. Especially I want to talk about Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon that was confirmed to be a launch title for this Xbox Series X. I don't have much to say about the presentation in general, but Yakuza is a series that I really like and I want to talk more about it. First of all, if Yakuza Like a Dragon doesn't come out day one on PlayStation 5, that's a minus for me, and that's a plus for Xbox. I don't know yet whether I'll pick up a PS5 or an Xbox Series X yet, but that's a topic for a different video. And just before I get right into the video, I want to let you guys know that Yakuza 7 is out now in Japan as a PS4 exclusive. It came out last January actually. And for now, the game is actually confirmed in the West for Xbox Series X, PS4, and PC. So no confirmation for a PS5 or for a Nintendo Switch version, which is one of the topics for this video. There is two topics that I want to discuss for this video. The first one will be shorter, and that's that the Xbox version of Yakuza 7 is a big deal. And then the second point that I want to deep dive into is why I think there's a possibility for the Yakuza series on the Nintendo Switch. So let's get right into it. First of all, for the Xbox version of the game, here's why I think the present announcement for the game being a launch title for Series X is a big deal. For a long time, Yakuza stayed on PlayStation as exclusive games. Recently, Sega started to add the games on Xbox Game Pass with the recent release of Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, and Kiwami 2. As a fan of the franchise, it's really exciting to see, honestly. Yakuza is an awesome franchise that's been going for a while now. I still think it doesn't get the praise that it deserves, honestly. Before I give my points for a Switch version, I want to tell you guys that I'm a strong believer that the more gamers get to experience a certain game, the better. I have a lot of Sony consoles at home. I have an eye for the next Xbox as well, as I said, and you obviously know that I'm a Nintendo fanboy, as some might call it. But I enjoy all games. As long as it's good games, I'm down for that. Now we're going to talk about the Switch and why I think Yakuza might be coming to the Switch. I have a lot of points to discuss here, so let's get right into it. The first point that I want to talk about is, in general, Sega's business plans for 2020 and 2021 and above. I know that Sega recently stated that Yakuza won't come to Nintendo platforms because of the poor Wii U sales of Yakuza 1 and 2 that were ported in HD to the Wii U. Those games were ported exclusively in Japan. It's not worth. I honestly don't think it's worth to bring this fact on the table right now, since the games were ported to the Wii U in 2013, and the Wii U, obviously, I'm not telling you anything new here, is not even near as successful as the Switch is right now. I also know that series producer Daisuke Sato said that the franchise was unlikely to release on Switch, and that is a statement that I'm about to tell you from 2018. So I state, when it comes to Switch, I am convinced that it would not be the ideal platform on which to develop Yakuza games. Maybe the public is not expecting that kind of games on Switch. They may be used to different games. It may not be the ideal platform. So he stated that when he was asked about a possible Yakuza game coming to Switch. I wanted to get that 2018 statement from the producer out of the way. I think his statement is not that worthy right now, since games that he's talking about flopped in 2013 on a dead install base, and now the Switch is selling like hotcakes. It's dominating the market in Japan and also worldwide right now before the release of the next gen consoles. So I think Sega might consider the Switch this time around. And that brings me to my next point. Last year, Sega made a statement that they wanted to bring some of their IPs out of the PlayStation 4 exclusivity and release more of their games multi-platform. This statement was made after the statement of Yakuza's producer. So who knows if his mind changed now. I know it's not only about him and the Yakuza franchise, but it's Sega we're talking about here. The other thing that I want to talk about is a question that I can see on every single YouTube video from a game that people want on Switch but that is not on Switch yet, is the question, can the game run on the console? So we know that the Switch is not as powerful as the Xbox One or the PS4, but still there's potential here. Now that the franchise is also coming to Xbox and PC with its new installment, Like a Dragon, I think we might see the franchise on Nintendo Switch as well. Those games are massive, but I don't feel like they're that demanding, since there's never that much going on the screen at the same time. To the utmost, you'll be fighting 6 or 7 goons at a time, I'd say. If we're talking Yakuza 7, since this game is, and it's also a turn-based RPG, I feel like that would be even smoother as far as the frame rate goes on the Switch. I've spoken to some industry guys that told me that it might be hard to optimize the Dragon engine to run well on the Switch. I get what they're saying, but at the same time, Sega's Dragon engine is used for Yakuza 0, and Yakuza 0 was released on the PlayStation 3 in Japan, and the game looked and ran pretty well on it. I've looked comparison videos before making this one, and I can tell you guys that the Dragon engine is running pretty well on the PS3, so yes, it might be hard to optimize the right way, but I really do feel like it's feasible. Don't get me wrong, those games are beautiful games, but I really am confident that with the right optimization and with a good studio behind it, they could make it work. Who knows, I might be wrong, I'm not a developer after all, but that's my opinion. My final point for this video is very simple. It is that Yakuza in portable mode would be awesome. There's so much content and side activities packed into those games that it would be really great to be able to bring those games with you whenever you want and play them wherever you feel like. I talked about the side quests a lot in my last Yakuza 0 review, but I really do feel like those are worth doing, and I feel bad skipping some of them every single time. I feel like my backlog is getting hella big those days, that every single time that I play a Yakuza game, I don't really have the time to play over 80 hours of gameplay, so I end up skipping a few of the side quests in those games, even though those games side quests are really fun and really cool, and I always feel bad skipping them, but I want to enjoy the story of the franchise. I don't really have the time to play and complete everything for the game, unfortunately. That's why I'm not a completionist for my games most of the time. The story in this franchise is awesome as well. There's a lot of long cutscenes in Yakuza. I've heard some people ditch the game for that. I really feel like that's unfortunate since the story is awesome in those games. It's kind of like Metal Gear. You'll have a lot of long cutscenes, but it's definitely worth it. You don't want to skip it. If you tell me that you don't like one of the Yakuza games, but you skip the cutscenes, I don't know what to tell you, man. I really don't know. With all those details in mind, I honestly feel that it's not that crazy to wish for Yakuza on the console. I made this video so I could share my thoughts, and I think it's a great thing to see Yakuza coming to Series X, and hopefully we'll see this series reach a broader audience. Thank you very much for listening to me rambling about Yakuza and the Nintendo Switch. Those are two things that I really like, and my fingers are crossed for Yakuza on the console. Thank you for listening to me, guys. Until next time.